Today we have updates on a new 47 Meters Down film, Wednesday Season 2, and the Crystal Lake series, which may or may not be cancelled. Now let's get into it! Before we get into this, of course, I do want to thank my patrons again. Thank you so much for supporting this page and making this little show happen. It's because of my patrons that I can post as frequently as I do. In June, I will be announcing a series that supporters will actually be able to be a part of, and you all helped fund my slasher short film that hopefully you guys will see soon. I am immensely grateful. Thank you all so much for supporting this page. Now let's get into the updates. It's time to go 47 meters down for a third time with a brand new franchise installment, 47 Meters Down, The Wreck. Today, Deadline details that a new movie in the surprisingly successful 47 Meters Down franchise has just been announced from franchise creator Johannes Roberts, who will be writing the script alongside Ernest Riera. I say specifically surprisingly successful franchise because it was only until recently that I learned that there is a sequel to 2017's 47 Meters Down. 47 Meters Down Uncaged also performed pretty well at the box office back in 2019, pulling in almost $48 million against a $12 million budget. I watched both movies shortly after the pandemic for the first time, and while, yeah, they're no Jaws like the zenith of shark movies, I think both of them do have some terrifying sequences. I also think I enjoyed the journey and set pieces of Uncaged slightly more than the mostly single location of the original film. Uncaged is more of a straightforward shark attack movie, where the original film gets a little too high concept at times for me. The plot description for the threequel reads, the story will follow a father who is determined to rebuild his relationship with his daughter as they bond during a scuba diving in beautiful tropical waters while exploring a famous shipwreck. But soon after their descent, their master diver has an accident leaving them alone and unprotected inside the labyrinth of the wreck. As tensions rise and oxygen dwindles, the pair must use their newfound bond to escape the wreck and the relentless barrage of bloodthirsty great white sharks. This entry sees a new director for the franchise, Patrick Lussier, which is maybe the most exciting part about this update. Patrick is an unsung hero of horror films, working under the wing of the legendary Wes Craven for some of his most notable films. Patrick edited the first 3 Wes Craven Scream movies, as well as New Nightmare, Vampire in Brooklyn, Red Eye, and Cursed. On top of that, he also directed beloved horror films such as Dracula 2000 and My Bloody Valentine 3D. I know I overuse the word underrated a lot on this channel, trust me, I know, but in every sense of the word, Patrick is exactly that. 47 Meters Down is in surprisingly good hands. I really think this new movie will be a worthy continuation and something I'm oddly hyped about, even though I'm not like the biggest fan of this franchise. The 7-year-old version of me who was obsessed with sharks is screaming right now. Ever since that damn dance blew up on TikTok, the new Wednesday Addams has had an undeniable impact on horror. Not only did the Netflix series shoot Jenna Ortega into the A-list, it's also influenced recent horror films Megan and Abigail. Evil little girls who dance. I hate that all 3 of those properties can be described by those 5 words. Revealed in a goofy teaser featuring Thing delivering scripts to the actors, it's been revealed that Season 2 will feature Jenna Ortega, Emma Myers, Joy Sunday, Hunter Duhan, Victor Dorobantu, Musa Mostafa, Georgie Farmer, Catherine Zeta-Jones, Luis Guzman, Isaac Ordonez, and Luanda Unadi Luis Noayo as returning cast members. Percy Hines-White, Jamie McShane, and Naomi J. Ogawa will not be returning for the 2nd season. New players this time around include Steve Buscemi, Billy Piper, Evie Templeton, Owen Painter, and Noah Taylor. I'm most excited to see some of the guest stars, though, that include Joanna Lumley as Grandmama, Thandoi Newton as Dr. Fairburn, Francis O'Connor, Haley Joel Osment, Heather Matarazzo, Junis Sutamo, with Fred Armisen reprising his role as Uncle Fester and Christopher Lloyd? Wait a minute, are we gonna have 2 Uncle Festers on our hands here? What is going on? No matter what happens, Christopher Lloyd being attached to a project infinitely makes it better, no matter what. We of course know him from his iconic role in Back to the Future, but he makes Piranha 3D worth every second of your time for his scenes alone.
The first bite draws blood, the blood draws the pack.
This is the biggest update we've had for the series in a very long time. The last big thing was Jenna Ortega talking about how Season 2 will take more of a horror direction this time around, opposed to the teen romance angle. As a 25-year-old man, that excites me, but maybe not so much to the younger demographic that this show caters to. I thought that was a pretty weird comment since I've heard it, but it makes me excited, maybe not everybody else. Hell yeah, Jenna, hell yeah. The Friday the 13th franchise is once again in turmoil, as industry scooper Jeff Schneider reports that A24 has pulled the plug on the upcoming Crystal Lake series. The announcement came late last night in Schneider's exclusive report that made it sound like a conclusion had yet to be reached. The article reads, "It's unclear whether this is a permanent decision or a temporary one, as A24 had no comment. Perhaps Peacock will help the trades shed more light on this project, which was announced back in 2022. This had many up in arms and disappointed. I loved the We Watched a Movie rant about all this shit. But like I always say, I know some of you get annoyed by this, but I say it for a reason. It's times like this that I say this all the goddamn time. It may not be true. My frustration with rumors will simply never end. Thankfully, the Bloody Disgusting staff have reported this morning that their sources tell them that A24 has not canned Jason's return quite yet. While the show is still in the works, some sort of retooling is happening behind the scenes. Now, I want to make this as clear as Crystal Lake here, because I'm not trying to get a defamation charge. I'm not going to accuse anyone of anything here, but I do want to talk about an article that was ran last year. Deadline first reported last October that Crystal Lake showrunner Brian Fuller was accused of SA while working on the docuseries Queer for Fear, the history of queer horror. Again, this is total speculation, but A24 could have removed Brian Fuller from the project because of all of these allegations. This could also be one of the reasons why we haven't had too many updates about the series since it was announced. No matter what the case is here, I believe Bloody Disgusting over fucking Jeff Schneider. All in all, though, I do hope that some of the people that were announced to be attached to the project originally do stay on, like Kevin Williamson, the Scream scribe, who was supposed to write an episode of the show. I'd love to see his touch on the Friday the 13th universe, especially with how poppin' his career has been lately. Dude just got off of executive producing 2 Scream installments, directing the next one, and has been in the writer's room for countless movies and TV shows in the last couple of years. When does Kevin Williamson sleep? I don't know. Adrienne King, the first final girl in the franchise, Alice Hardy, was also said to be attached to the series for a recurring role. I haven't been over the moon about Crystal Lake since it was announced in 2022, just because I usually prefer slashers to be on the big screen versus the small one. At this point, though, I'm desperate. Give me Jason or give me death. I just want to see that hockey mask wearing fuck skewer some camp counselors. I'm not asking for much. I don't care if I gotta watch it on YouTube at this point. Just make it happen. We'll always have the Never Hike Alone films. Thank you, Womp Stomp. Today has already been a roller coaster of emotions for horror fans, and it's barely even 2 o'clock when I'm recording this. You guys okay? Do you need a hug? Do you need a blanket? What do you guys need? Let old Jake help you out here. Leave me something about today's updates, though, in the comments below. Subscribe now, or I swear to God, I will just cry into the camera for 10 minutes and upload it to this page. It'll be really embarrassing, and it will waste your time. You don't want the algorithm picking that thing up, man. That would just suck. Come on now, hit that red button and subscribe. Let's make this thing happen. Thank you all so much for watching these horror updates, and as always, don't forget to kill it out there, y'all.